Level 1. So this is the next little series that we're going to be working on in class. You guys are going to be using your Micron Pigma pen. The one that you're going to use the most is 01. There is 03, which is a little bit thicker, as well as the 05. So y'all are going to be given a sheet of paper that looks exactly like this. On this, what's going to happen is you will practice using different weighted lines in this particular assignment. In addition to weighted lines, you guys are going to be doing different hatching lines and things like that to show shadow and three-dimensional forms in some spots. You're also going to learn a bit with cast shadows. The main thing I think that I would tell you guys is to read, step by step, the 1 through whatever it is on each section, and try to follow what you see and to shade what you see on each little section. So what I was going to do for you guys is I was going to just show you step by step really quickly what we're going to be doing. I'm not going to finish each little thing, but at least it'll get you guys started in the right direction. So anyway, so on this first thing, what y'all are going to do is add weighted lines to your section. Now, if you notice right here, the weighted lines on the base of this are heavier, and then as you go up, the weighted lines get thinner. And these are the weighted lines on the outside of this form, and that's on the right side. Now, if you look at the left side of this form, your weighted lines still are thicker down here, but they kind of get lighter and lighter as you go towards your top. So I'll do one section just to kind of let you guys see what needs to happen on here. What I would do is just observe what you see and look at number 1, then go to 2, and so forth and so on. So what you'll end up doing here to begin with, and you can use an 01 if you would like to graduate to the 03, 05. I definitely would experiment with those. I've got my 01 with me right now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try to copy what I see right here. So these lines, like this line right here, it's going very similarly. And you see these are kind of semi diagonal lines. They're kind of going towards that little vanishing point right there. And I know y'all we haven't done perspective yet. But what I'm gonna do, I'm kind of going in the direction of the line that's already on my paper. I'm going to take that and I curve it up just a little bit. I'm giving it just a little bit of weight here. And then I'm going to take it, and it's still kind of going in the direction of the current lines that are already there. And I close it out. And you can, with a heavier pen, fill it in if you like, but I'm using my 01. I would definitely outline with the 01, and then you could fill in with the 03 and 05. So you look at that and you see there's like a little cast shadow right there. On this other side, you're going to do the same thing. And just in each little section, just look for opportunities to create those cast shadows. And you're just going to look back and forth at what's, on the example to what's there as you go. And you'll do the same thing on the next section. You'll kind of follow what you see on your example and then fill in like as you go. And then you keep on going as you go up. So this is definitely teaching you guys how to draw what you see and all the things. One of the things too that I ended up doing, coming off of the weighted lines, you can kind of see there's a little bit of darkness right here. I did to my lines that are on here, I did actually add some lines like coming out of the darkness of the value. My lines are going in the direction of my current lines that you see. These lines that I added, if you look, it does get lighter as you go up. So just pay close attention to that. If it appears darker, what that means is I added lines on top of my existing lines in some spots right there. So, you know, just be mindful of that. That's just one extra little thing that I ended up doing. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to look at is this rose. So the rose right here, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to outline. What I would do is outline this whole thing, and you could do the same thing with everything you do, even that the ribbon looking thing. You could outline the whole thing and then go back and fill in with the thicker weighted lines and all that. So let's just pretend that I've outlined this whole thing. All right, so after you outline the entire thing, what you're going to end up doing is very, very similar to what you did right here. You're going to look at it and you're going to add your weighted lines. You're going to add your weighted lines at the bottom. And then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to start adding your hatching lines. And usually with these hatching lines, I'm just really going up and down. That's basically what I'm doing on here. So just vertical lines right here. They can, as you go towards your shadow, they can get smaller as you go. The main thing I think I would tell you is to just observe where the lines get closer, where the lines get heavier right here. If you notice here on the little veins of my leaf, I've got to where the lines they're thicker, where I have a corner right here, and then they get thinner as I go here. So watch for things like when you see corners in certain areas, how things get thicker there and things get thinner as you come out of corners and other just heavier spots. Always on the bottom of everything, even this delicate little leaf, you're going to see on one side is going to be heavier than the other side. So that's one little thing to watch out for. So the next thing that you're going to observe are these boxes. And if you look at the boxes, it's probably going to look really familiar to you because you guys have done the boxes on a previous video. The main thing to let you guys know is it's going to be the same as this one and this one. You can take this and you can literally just outline the whole thing in your pen initially. Just do a really thin line, and then after you guys do that, what y'all are going to be looking for is corners. So you're going to take your corners and you're going to round them off. So y'all remember we were talking a little bit about not all objects, when you look at them in perspective, the objects appear to be kind of rounded. So that's one thing to look at when you're looking at all corners of everything that you see. You're going to round those, and those are going to look very stylized, and it'll make it look a little bit more weighted and 3D and interesting. So just look where corners meet, and you'll take it, and as you outline, you could do that as you go. So we're going to pretend like this whole thing is outline. Main thing, I'm creating the illusion that there is a cast shadow. Down here, I'm just kind of drawing. I'm going in the direction, like if this is slanted this way, this little thickness right here would be going this way. And then you would end up filling in this thing fully right here. And the same thing goes with this side right here. And you're going to, as you go down towards the base of this thing, it'll end up getting thicker right there than the top. So that's one thing with all of this. And if you look, and I'll just kind of talk you through it, there is a cast shadow. This cast shadow is going horizontally right there. You see those lines right there? Now I've got, it doesn't have to be exactly like my cast shadow, but I've got this cast shadow coming off of this box. I would make your cast shadow going horizontally right there, and then you have some added lines of cast shadow going, this is a diagonal right there. So right here I thickened these lines in this little area to just show that this dark is coming off of this dark from this cast shadow. So naturally you would have something heavier on that side. I did choose to make some lines a little bit more weighted on some of these sides. This box is very similar in nature to this box, the way that I did the little cast shadow right there. So the stars, one thing I want to talk you through on these stars is very, very similar in nature to what you're doing right here. The only difference with this one really is that this, if you just had this and this, they would remain the same. But if you're doing something that goes back in space, like this little star is further back than this star, and this star is further back than this star, what you're going to do with your lines is you're going to take your lines, and this one, your darks are going to be more heavy, more exaggerated, all that. This one, not so much. You've got a bit of contrast happening. Like I added some heavier lines here, and you can see my lines go in the direction of the already existing lines here. I also, if you look comparatively, I added some heavier lines, like wherever you see like where things meet, I went back in it with my pen, and if you look, on this one, I just added lines here that are heavier. And then I did just a little bit, I outlined this, and I created a little bit of a heavier line there. So that's really it. The main thing is just read what you need to do and play around, get to know your pens. I would use different weights, just play around with the weights. I know I didn't right here. I had this pen with me. This pen was available, but just make sure that you understand you're outlining with the 01. You're filling in with the 03 and 05 on the really thick areas. So, all right.